Hello, welcome Exiles to my 6th build for the 10D challenge, which is a Earthquake Chieftain Marohi Erqi Ignite character. Now, the plan was essentially I was going to try to snapshot the damage from tawhoas. This slam here is a Mirage Slam that occurs when you're near an enemy every 2 seconds as its cooldown, which deals 100% more damage. So you can kind of snapshot a big Ignite or a bigger Ignite with this. Also, since we're physical based and we're going to fire, we're converting to fire, this thing every 4 seconds out of 10 seconds will be 100% gain as extra, which I'm trying to snapshot and ignite from that, along with this node for a massive ignite, because we're not just dealing 200% or 100% of our phys, we're dealing 200% of our physical. Now, this is my little drawing I made for it to showcase me defeating Uber Shaper. Basically, 100% more from tawhoas, 100% more from the 100% gain of Namahus, 150% base from the Earthquake itself, and then 150% more multiplier from the Earthquake Aftershock. All that roughly means I can snapshot a 1500% damage scaling ignite, and the plan was I would just do one big bonk, I'd ignite the enemy, and then I would keep that ignite going via the node here, Defiled Forces, which says when you curse an enemy, you can reapply or refresh the duration of your ignite. So my plan was I'd snapshot a big ignite, and then I'd refresh the duration. Now, the reason I need to snapshot and refresh the duration is, if you know anything about Marohi Erqi, you know it has terrible, and I mean terrible attack speed. This is actually better than it would be normally because I actually unveiled one with 10% attack speed, but even then, it is still a very slow attack. Our attack animation takes 1.15 seconds or something. It's a very slow attack time, yeah, 1.16 seconds. Very slow attack time, and this in of itself is very, very dangerous when you're doing Ubers. Getting an attack in 1.16 seconds, landing the attack appropriately is difficult, especially when you consider not only does it take 1 second for me to hit, it also takes a while before the Earthquake itself goes off and the Aftershock applies the better ignite. You'll see, for example, there is one thing that works in our advantage, which is the Mirage Slam will actually continue to occur if I animation cancel. So even though our attack time's terrible, technically, with a little bit of playing the build better, I can cheese it somewhat. You'll see here I'll go, I will start a slam and I will animation cancel, and the Mirage guy will still slam, which is the one that hits for 100% more damage. So you see, I start the slam, I animation cancel. Is it going to occur? Basically, you can see there, I have to let the animation like start just a little bit to proc the Mirage guy, so it's like kind of some weird timing window. So if I try to do it too fast, you'll see multiple times it didn't slam. So essentially, this is a little bit of a play thing where if I try to cancel the animation too soon, it won't happen. But if I go through like, I don't know, 30% of the animation, then it will. So the idea is, in order to keep moving, I have to do this slight animation cancel to then keep moving and not get stuck in the animation and get wiped. Now, when it actually comes to doing an Uber fight, this is pretty hard to pull off. And in of itself, the hardest part about this build was getting the hit off and then applying that curse and not having the boss go to immunity phase, which removes the curse, and then have to redo it. And it's a struggle. Damage uptime for this Ignite character was very, very bad. Ignite characters are one of those builds you normally should have really good Ignite uptime on, but I actually had a struggle. Even with Defiled Forces and an Arcanist brand curse, I still struggled to keep my Ignite on the enemy, and it was rough to say the least. Now, Ubers we did 1 out of 7. It was a nightmare. We only did Eater successfully. I maybe could have done Uber Shaper, and I probably could have done Cortex if it was a no mod Cortex. I did 130% more monster life on my Cortex, and I got both of the last phase boss to quarter HP, so I was close to finishing the Cortex, but I ended up choking it, so that was unfortunate. Even then, though, this character is terrible to map, terrible to boss, feels terrible all around, and I just, quite frankly, made just a bad build. I don't know, I wanted to do melee, and then I started going off on this tangent about wanting to try to do Ignite, and it just went downhill from there. One thing led to another, and I have this catastrophe to look at. I'll give you guys a showcase of what it looks like doing a map. I 100% do not recommend this build at all, but regardless, you know, we tried something, it just didn't work out. I was hoping the damage would be a little bit higher. I was hoping it would be easier to keep the curse up, or the Ignite up with the curses, but ultimately that didn't work. Now our cooldown for the Marohi Erqi is 2 seconds, so sometimes I won't have the is my Ignite even applying to that? Okay, Don't look at that. Sometimes it's like I'll start thinking, oh, I started the animation, but I didn't actually start the animation, and that's awkward in and of itself. And there's other times where if I'm leap slamming around, now technically my leap slam does enough damage where it'll kill some monsters, probably not rares, but it might kill like normal monsters, for example. That leap slam will actually proc the Marohi, the little dude that does the extra slam. It'll proc him, and thus I won't have him for my earthquake where I actually need the damage. So I had to have the mindset of I don't really want to use leap slam to dodge if I can avoid it. Leap slam is a last resort. It's also not a very fast leap slam, but if I leap slam and you'll see the Marohi guy get procced for the leap slam, then I won't have it for my actual slam where I need it as a damage multiplier. The other downside of this is if you do a Marohi for your single target, it doesn't work with exerted attack stuff, so it doesn't work with things like Fist of War. So one of the best support gems for Ignite that also makes it look cooler doesn't even work. It's still best in slot for damage, even though it doesn't feel the greatest to walk away from using that per se. See if we can Ignite Drox here and keep it up. Although I don't know what's going on with the flags, if that like prevents him from taking damage. I don't freaking know the mechanics of Drox, to be honest. I know the flags do something, but I don't really know what they do. But yeah, this is our 6th build, and for my takeaway, it's basically this is a terrible idea and I'm not going to do it in the future, or I'm going to try something different next time I try to do an Ignite build. Yeah, that's the character. Our next build I'm going to try to do is, I haven't gotten over the fact that I can't seem to make a discharge character successfully with the trigger item. So my next build I'm going to try to do charge dash, trigger discharge with the trigger socketed skill once per second item that you can get on a Crucible tree. I'm going to try to make it work. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thanks for watching. Take care, Exiles, and peace out.